Okay, let's unpack this. I want to start today with a thought experiment. And honestly, it's a little dangerous.
Which is usually the sign of a good deep dive.
Exactly. It's the kind of thing that once you let it into your head, you can't really unthink it. So I want you to imagine a world where your deepest, most cherished beliefs are illegal.
And you mean actually illegal.
Oh, yeah. I don't mean just frowned upon. I mean a capital offense. Subversive.
We're talking a full totalitarian crackdown. High stakes. The kind of place where a whisper can get you disappeared.
Right. Now, imagine you are dragged before court in this world. You're arrested, you're facing life imprisonment, maybe worse. And the question on the table is, well, it's deceptively simple. Is there enough evidence to convict you?
It's a classic hypothetical. I think a lot of people have heard some version of this, maybe on a bumper sticker.
Right.
And it's usually meant to make you feel a little guilty. But the narrative we're looking at today takes that, turns it inside out, and shakes it until something really uncomfortable falls out.
Because the answer isn't as simple as checking your bookshelf. Today we're doing a deep dive into a specific story that forces us to look at this massive gap between intellectual assent, which is just, agreeing with an idea, and lived faith.
Right. And I think it's important to frame this carefully up front. The story we're analyzing, it uses Christian imagery. It's about a believer on trial. But, and this is key, this isn't really a religious discussion.
No.
It's a philosophical one, a socio-political one. It's about the difference between being a fan of a philosophy and being the embodiment of it.
It's the difference between admiring the concept of fire and actually striking the match.
That's a perfect way to put it. We're looking at the mechanics of belief and how power reacts to it.
So let's get into the narrative. We need to set the scene. Because the atmosphere is, well, it's really the first character in this story. You have to put yourself in the shoes of the accused.
You're the one in the dock.
You are on trial. The charge is following the radical, subversive path of Christ. And again, you have to strip away the modern, comfortable context. In this world, this is a revolutionary act. You've been under clandestine surveillance for months.
Which is terrifying. You didn't even know it.
You didn't know it.
Okay.
They're watching everything. So you're dragged into this courtroom. It's cold, sterile. You're facing a judge who is known to be harsh, unyielding. The prosecution begins, and honestly, from the outside, it looks like a slam dunk.
So what do they have on you? What's the so-called smoking gun?
It's not just one gun. It's an arsenal, a literal mountain of evidence. First, surveillance photos, dozens of them, grainy black and white shots. There you are, attending secret meetings, speaking at events.
Okay.
There you are with your eyes closed in prayer. You are clearly, physically part of this community.
So that establishes association? You're physically present? It's hard to argue with a photograph?
Right, but they're just getting started. Next, they dump out the contents of your home. They've confiscated everything, a library of religious books, worship albums, artifacts. It's all there on the evidence table.
The paraphernalia of belief. The merch, basically.
And then it gets much more personal. They start reading from your journals, your poems, your prose, these deeply personal entries where you've written about your faith. It's beautiful writing, actually. But in this context, it feels damning.
It proves intent, right? It shows this isn't just a social club. The ideology is inside your head. You're not just going through the motions. You're agonizing over it.
And finally, the prosecution offers your Bible to the judge. But it's not some pristine book. This thing is falling apart. It's held together with tape. It's full of scribbles, notes in the margins, heavy underlining.
That's the clincher. That proves you didn't just own the text, you devoured it. You engaged with it obsessively. If I'm the prosecutor, I'm thinking, case closed.
Exactly. The prosecution rests. And you, sitting in that chair,
Yeah.
you are trembling. You're sweating. You know this evidence is just overwhelming.
What's going on in your head at that point, the internal monologue?
Panic. Absolute panic. There is this overwhelming temptation to just stand up and deny it all, to scream, no, you've got it wrong, just to save your own skin. But you don't.
You hold the line.
You hold the line. You resolve to be like the figure you follow. You remain silent. You refuse to speak because you're terrified that if you open your mouth, fear will make you deny everything. So you just sit there waiting for the hammer to drop.
So the evidence is in, the accused is silent, the judge goes to deliberate.
You wait in the foyer. Feels like hours. Finally, a guard brings you back to the dock. The judge walks in. He stops. He looks deep into your eyes. The tension is just unbearable. And he delivers the verdict.
Guilty.
Not guilty.
Wait, run that back.
Not guilty. The judge acquits you of all charges.
Okay, hold on. This is where the story pivots, because logically, based on everything you just described, that makes zero sense. We just listed a mountain of evidence, photos, journals, the worn-out Bible. How can the verdict possibly be not guilty?
That is exactly how the accused reacts. You'd think they'd be relieved, right? You just escaped death. But the reaction isn't relief. It's rage. Absolute confusion. The accused stands up and basically yells at the judge, "What do you mean, not guilty? Look at the evidence. Look at the poems. The tears I shed in church."
It's almost like an insult. The accused feels invalidated, like, wait, you're saying my devotion doesn't count? That I'm not real?
Precisely. And this is where the judge delivers the line that completely dismantles everything. The judge looks at him with this cold, indifferent logic and just says, "What evidence?"
He ignores the physical evidence.
The accused points to it, the poems, the writing. And the judge says, "Those simply prove that you think of yourself as a poet. Nothing more."
Ouch. That stings.
The accused says, "But the services, the weeping." And the judge says, "Evidence that you are a good actor or a skilled speaker. Nothing more. It is obvious you have deluded those around you, and perhaps you have even deluded yourself. But this foolishness is not enough to convict you."
That is devastating. He's basically calling his entire spiritual life performance art. He's saying, you're just role-playing.
It gets worse. The accused is screaming, "This is madness. No evidence would convince you." And the judge leans in, and here's the key, the pivot. He says, "Not so. The court is indifferent toward your Bible reading and church attendance. We have no concern for worship with words and a pen."
So what does the court care about? If words and feelings and study aren't evidence, what is?
The judge says, "Continue to develop your theology. Use it to paint pictures of a better world. We have no interest in armchair artists. We exist only for those who would lay down the brush and create that world."
Lay down the brush. That's the distinction.
And then he delivers the final blow. He says, "Until you challenge this system and become a thorn in our side, until you offer your body to the flames, until then, my friend, you are no enemy of ours."
Oh, you are no enemy of ours. Wow, that is chilling. It just completely reframes the entire concept of faith.
It really does. It moves the goalpost from "what do you believe?"
Yeah.
to "are you a threat to the status quo?"
What's so fascinating is that the judge is the truth teller here. He's stripping away the illusion. We have this modern tendency, especially in the West, to separate private belief from public action, this inner-outer distinction.
Right, this idea that what I feel in my heart is the real me.
Exactly. We tell ourselves, I am a compassionate person because I feel compassion, or I am a revolutionary because I read revolutionary books and I agree with them. We think the private thought is the essence of our identity.
It's like, if I read a book on fitness, I feel healthier. But I haven't actually lifted a single weight. I haven't changed my physical reality.
Completely. And the judge is saying, the system, the structure of power, doesn't care about your private thoughts. It doesn't care if you have a heart of gold or if you underline meaningful passages. If that belief stays inside your head or your journal or inside the four walls of a building, it doesn't count. It has zero impact.
It's armchair artistry. You're painting a picture of a fire, but you aren't burning anything.
Yes. Authentic faith in this narrative is defined strictly as sacrificial, loving action. It has to manifest. If it doesn't, it's just a hobby. It's just poetry. And the state doesn't arrest poets unless the poet starts starting fires.
That distinction, the actor versus the agent, is really rough to hear. Because the judge literally calls the accused an actor. He says, "You're a good speaker."
And that hits hard because it exposes how easy it is to delude ourselves. We mistake the ritual for the revolution. We go to the meeting, we sing the songs, we feel the emotion, and we mistake that feeling for actually doing the work.
Yeah.
The judge is saying that's just performance. Unless you are actually disrupting injustice, you're just playing a role.
Reminds me of that bumper sticker we see all the time. You know the one. "If Christianity were illegal, would there be enough evidence to convict you?"
Right. It's a cliche at this point. And usually people think about the evidence we just described. Do I go to church enough? Do I read my Bible? They think about the artifacts of belief.
But if we apply the logic from this story, we had to flip that bumper sticker on its head.
We do. And this is a crucial insight. The phrasing, "if Christianity were illegal," implies a hypothetical. It suggests we're waiting for some dystopian future. It puts us in this passive waiting mode.
Like we're waiting for the persecution to start to prove we're for real. One day when the bad guys come, then I'll show them.
Exactly. But the deeper insight here is that the question isn't if it were illegal. The better perspective is it is illegal.
Okay, Unpack that, because obviously in many places, it's not illegal. There are churches on every corner. You can buy Bibles at the grocery store.
Legally, sure, the statutes aren't there. But philosophically, think about the message. If you truly lived the subversive, radical message of love that the narrative implies, giving a voice to the voiceless, standing against systematic oppression, welcoming the displaced into your home at your own expense, you wouldn't need a specific law to be in trouble.
I see.
You would naturally clash with those in power right now.
Because radical love is inherently disruptive to a system that relies on inequality.
Precisely. Systems of power rely on maintaining a certain order, often an unjust one. If your faith creates a person who complies with that order perfectly, who never rocks the boat, then the system has no reason to convict you. You are, as the judge said, no enemy of ours.
So if we aren't being dragged before authorities, metaphorically or literally, it might not be because the system is tolerant. It might be because we're just conforming.
That's the uncomfortable mirror this story holds up. We like to think we are the rebels of love, but if the world is completely comfortable with us, if we fit in perfectly, maybe we aren't the rebels we think we are. Maybe we are just painting pretty pictures of justice while injustice is happening right outside.
That's a heavy thought. It suggests the status quo is actually totally fine with religion, as long as it stays private, as long as it stays spiritual.
Oh, absolutely. The system loves the actor. It loves the person who goes to church, feels good, then goes back to work on Monday, and participates in the same consumerism, the same indifference to the poor. That person is a stabilizer. They aren't a threat.
Because they feel like they've done their bit. It placates the conscience.
Exactly. It's a release valve. It lets off the pressure so you don't actually explode into revolution. The judge knows this. That's why he lets the accused go. He knows the accused is more useful to the state as a harmless poet than as a martyr.
So let's redefine evidence then.
Right.
Because the judge threw out the books, the photos. If we are looking for convictable evidence, what are we looking for?
We aren't looking for what you consume. We are looking for what you produce, what you do.
Okay. Give me some examples. What does that look like on a Tuesday?
Real evidence is giving a place to the displaced, literally opening your home when it's inconvenient or unsafe. It's amplifying the voices of the oppressed, not just quietly feeling bad for them, but actually using your platform when it costs you social capital. It's being a thorn in the side of broken systems. It implies friction.
Friction. That's the key word, isn't it?
If there is no friction between your life and the way the world works, there's no evidence. The evidence is the cost. Dying to oneself isn't a metaphor for feeling humble. It means actually sacrificing your comfort, your safety, your status to help someone else.
It's the difference between posting, "I believe in housing the homeless," and actually opening your door. The first one is a poem. The second one is evidence.
Exactly. And the judge is saying, we only convict the second guy. The first guy is harmless. In fact, we let the first guy keep talking because he makes people feel like they're doing something without actually changing anything. He's useful.
Wow. It really makes you look at your own life differently.
Yeah.
We started with a courtroom drama where a Bible wasn't enough evidence, and we've landed in a place where we realize true belief is actually dangerous. It should be dangerous to the status quo.
And if it isn't dangerous, is it even real? That's the question the story begs. If your belief system doesn't challenge the way things are, doesn't demand a better world at a cost to yourself, then it's just a decoration. It's furniture in your mind.
Furniture in your mind. That's going to stick with me. It's just decor. It makes the room look nice, but you can't live on it.
It's about moving from the sanctity of private belief to the messy, risky outer world of action. The story is a warning. Don't let your faith be defined by what you hold in your hands, like a book, but by what you do with your hands.
So, as we wrap up, we want to leave you with that core provocative thought. We've talked about the trial, the judge's logic, but I think we need to be careful here.
Right, because the takeaway isn't to go out and try to get arrested just for the sake of it. That's performative, too. That's just acting like a rebel. That's just another form of vanity.
Good point. We aren't looking for martyrdom's sake. That's just ego.
No. The takeaway is to stop asking if your beliefs are strong or sincere. That's the wrong metric. Don't ask if your theology is correct or if your devotion is pure. Ask if your beliefs are threatening to injustice.
That's the question I want our listeners to really sit with. Look at your life right now, your schedule, your bank account, your interactions. Is there enough evidence of radical sacrificial love to make you a thorn in the side of a broken world?
Or are you just painting pictures of a better one?
When you're laying down the brush? That's the challenge. Think about it. We'll see you in the next deep dive.